that he drove all the way out here.
Yes.
For those of you who might know him as like Kenzo VGC on Twitter, he comes up with some wild text sometimes.
And we're gonna see a little bit of it today.
Yeah, I didn't actually get a chance to look at his team yet, but Kenzo's known for cooking up some weird stuff and
Yeah.
a little bit of a more standard team this time.
Yeah, still some variations you're going to see. Ken's on the right here with Florges, Roaring Moon, Iron Hands, Mousel, Iron Bundle, and Volcarona, while we have Alex on the left with Dragonite, Gastrodon, Scissor, Sylveon, Umbreon, and Arcanine.
So I obviously a lot of people will be familiar with Dragonite if you've been watching a couple of the past regional streams. Dragonite just sort of dominating in a format where like even with fairy types, right, you just click like Terra normal, go for extreme speed. With Bandit's just absolutely terrifying.
So
love the Gastrodon Covert Cloak are kind of ready here, and Scissor again, just one of those Pokemon that's been slowly rising again because of the fact that the access to sort of like Bullet Punch and just being like a pretty decent typing in terms of it being a Steel type. A format where Fluttermane is sort of like a big deal. It's really nice to see. I mean, obviously, like there is no Fluttermane here. However, Florida just kind of at one point actually kind of came up in a chat that I was having with someone about how like you're going to use it as a counter, right? Because it actually does resist Fluttermane pretty nicely.
Yeah, Florges has a really high special attack, and we're not going to see it right away. We're going to see Iron Hands and Mousehold.
There's a lot of hands on Kenzo's side, I'm just saying.
10 hands at least. Dragonite, Sylveon leading on Alex's side. What's interesting is this Mousehold's going to be Iron Guard, so we do know that it's more support. Iron Hands is the more offensive Pokemon here, and it is a kind of a threat for, I would say, for Dragonite. If it goes for Terra Normal, which it could, Iron Hands has potential to hit that with a Drain Punch. Otherwise, Iron Hands can go for attack. Sylveon can hit it pretty hard because it is weak to Fairy, and it does not have the Assault Vest, the Iron Hands, so we know that it is going to...
No Terra typing here for unless like I missed him clicking the Terra typing. But honestly, like you kind of like
Iron Hands switching. Yeah, I don't blame him at all.
So no Terra typing here for Alex because that Dragonite would have Terra first here. But Iron Hands going for the Fire Terra typing here. As Mousehold goes for the Follow Me. Supported Mousehold actually a little bit more popular lately is going to draw the attention to itself. So Dragonite's Extreme Speed still does a considerable amount of damage. Probably would have knocked out if it had Terra typed here. It's gonna have the multi-scale break, however, because of that Rocky Helmet. We'll pick up the knockout here with the Sylveon and the Hyper Voice into that Mousehold. So Iron Hand's still able to move. Is actually going to deal significant damage if it goes into that Dragonite. That multi-scale breaking from Rocky Helmet just absolutely super important right now.
Fire Punch, Terra Fire Punch onto the Sylveon. That's going to chunk it real well. It gets down to about, I'd say, a third of its health left. However, this Iron Hands is the slowest Pokemon on the field. It does actually have some solid moves. Oh, we're going to see Roaring Moon come out now, which is interesting because it's one of the few Roaring Moons that does not have the booster energy.
It does have a Soul Vest. Actually, I think here, if you're Alex, you're gonna could probably go for the Terra typing Extreme Speed here right now, and you would not be absolutely punished for it, right? Sylveon might go down this turn, but the thing is, this Dragonite is absolutely terrifying with everything that's going on for it. I'm sure you could save the Dragonite if you really want to, but you have a lot of offensive pressure right now here. Like, you know for sure that Sylveon is has like a very high chance of like getting knocked out here. You could actually probably pick up a knockout with a Dragonite at some point. You just
the Dragonite actually swap out. I don't blame him because if you do go for that Terra Normal, that Iron Hand's kind of like it's gonna take you out with some Drain Punches. You're gonna take recovery. Something I gotta protect here. But yeah, if the Iron Hand's just Drain Punched into Dragonite after Terra Normal, it's gonna have a super effective move and recover a lot of health. Iron Head from Roaring Moon gonna not connect to the Sylveon thanks to Protect, but it does show that it is going to do that very soon. Wild Charge,
love that.
which was a wise play,
but
it is not going to hit that Gastrodon because of that ground type. Gastrodon is
Gastrodon's in a fantastic spot
really
here.
solid.
It came in for that Dragonite with absolutely like no damage on it. Ooh,
starts with the Throat Chop on Sylveon.
I love that Throat Chop because actually for future reference, that Throat Chop would absolutely stop Hyper Voice in its track thanks to the fact that it is a screen-based move. Earth Power here from Gastrodon
does really nicely on Iron Hands.
That super effective damage into there, but Drain Punch here is going to recover a little bit of health back for that Iron Hands, but Gastrodon kind of eats it up very nicely. What's nice here too, though, is that Gastrodon, and like, it's actually kind of a good spot for that Dragonite. So Dragonite,
really good spot for Dragonite.
still has access to the Terra typing, still has access to extreme speed. Gastrodon has a lot of moves in its like pool right now. You can go for the Ice Beam into the Roaring Moon, Earth Power again with Iron Hands. You can double down into it. The really fantastic spot here is that Roaring Moon can't Terra type, so it is in a little bit more of a precarious position than it would have been before if it was able to still have access for its Terra. But now this Dragonite is okay.
Iron Hand swapping out here, which is interesting. It's kind of smart, kind of let the Dragonite do what it's going to do. It's going into Iron Bundle, which, that's going to be okay, but and there's the booster energy. It's going to be okay, but it does have to worry about that extreme speed because bundle speed.
It was actually Ice Spinner that I saw, I think.
Oh, did go for
it too. Yeah, it looks like he really wants the knockout here on the Roaring Moon. Terra typing is still nice because at least you don't have to worry about that weakness to Dragon that you would have with Dragonite otherwise, or things like another Ice Beam or Wild Charge. Yeah. The interesting here is Alex has to worry, or like Dragon Call
right there, yeah.
The problem here is that Alex is going to be stuck into that Ice Spinner. It's still going to do a lot of damage.
Oh, it actually KOs.
Again, it is a choice band Dragonite, and Dragonite, I don't know if this would surprise anybody, doesn't really have a small attack stat. Gastrodon is going to follow up this turn with a Earth Power into the Iron Bundle. So Iron Bundle coming into the field not without some damage here. So Dragonite though, kind of in a wild spot, right? Because now you have to worry about what is it like Drain Punch here if you have it on Iron Hands.
What's interesting?
The Gastrodon does have its sort of like free to kind of hit for whatever it really wants.
Well, Iron Bundle does have Freeze Dry, which would be a 4 times weakness on Gastrodon, and it is going to connect. You cannot tear a Gastrodon out. You have to. I'd say you have to swap here. Yeah. Alex is in a tough spot. Every one of his Pokemon do have something on the opposing side that hits it super effectively. We're gonna see that Dragonite swap to Scissor. Protect on the Gastrodon. I probably would have done the same thing. I think that's the wise play because I'm guessing we're gonna see a Drain Punch onto the Scissor slot and a Freeze Dry on the Gastrodon slot. There's a Freeze Dry. Question is, did Ken's predict switch here with the Drain? It's gonna go for the Drain Punch. It still does a heck of a lot on Scissor and gonna recover a lot onto the Iron Hands. I mean, even with Scissor,
that was not as much recovery, I think, as either person expected.
No.
The thing here is, if Alex can at least just get one knockout, the Dragonite might actually still be in a really good spot.
Alex needs the knockout, but it's gonna be tough.
The problem is the Scissor. Where is it? The Scissor is actually still kind of like an interesting spot itself. Gastrodon might not be able to actually hold on with a Freeze Dry, and the problem here is that Iron Bundle is the fastest Pokemon, but I think if we're going to try to go for it, you just have to go for it, right? Because now, because Dragonite in the back is at least able to come in and it resets whatever move it locked into. I think that was a double protect he tried to lock into. Oh, we got the double. Okay, so getting a double protect is actually kind of huge here for Alex.
Yeah.
That means, that Freeze Dry will not connect again.
I was fully expecting a Bullet Punch here, but that risk paid off.
Actually also might be able to move here. Goes for the close combat, is able to connect with the Iron Bundle, is able to pick up the knockout. That is actually really fantastic for Alex. Sure, your Scissor goes down on this turn, but Dragonite, which is Terra Normal in the back, will have access to all 4 of its moves before it locks itself in. Drain Punch will get like another couple of like health back, but both Gastrodon and Dragonite are in the field now. Dragonite with extreme speed, sure, it lost its multi-scale, but if you're Kenzo, you don't really have a way to deal with both Pokemon at the same time. You obviously can't Wild Charge here. The Dragonite can just go for Earth Power for days here. You've also got the Dragonite that has, again, access to extreme speed because it's no longer...
This is interesting, too, because the Dragonite being at 70 HP is actually kind of a blessing here. This extreme speed is obviously going to hit, and I'm expecting we're going to see an Iron Hands Drain Punch incoming. It may not matter. I think Earth Power is going to be able to pick up the knockout.
Earth Power is just going to do a lot.
That's it. It goes to Alex. But wow, that double protect I think really saved him, because if not, that Gastro would have gone down and it would have been Hands Dragonite 1-on-1, and in that case we would have seen that Iron Hands 1. So that double protect literally saved Alex there.
It really cinches the victory for him. But I also think that Alex played that in a very nice sort of defensive way, right?
Nice
I love the fact that, like, despite how surprising it was for me, he did go for the Terra typing, so at least the Dragon Claw from the Roaring Moon wasn't able to do super effective damage into the Dragonite. Was able to get the knockout with the Ice Spinner, so just really good pivoting there. I do appreciate that Kenzo went for the Throat Drop on the Sylveon. I just think it was a lot of damage maybe early on for him, and just the Volcarona was really nice. I just kind of have to be careful. The Scissor and the Dragonite together still kind of rough. I think it actually puts Alex in kind of a tight spot sometimes. The Mouthful though really great as a Pokemon still, because the Friend Guard would be really nice.
Friend Guard's really solid. I think
if you're looking at Alex's team, right, I think if you decide to Terra earlier on, that would be better, because you could pick up the knockout on the Mouthful like a little bit faster, which could also just be very important.
I think that it's kind of tough because adjustment-wise, I think both sides kind of have to go for the same thing. It was just a matter.
I mean, yeah,
of
for Alex, if it's not broke, you know, you don't have to fix it.
And with Kenzo's side, I don't see any, because the Pokemon did not bring over Volcarona and Florges. Volcarona may see some usage, but Florges, I don't see that really helping against the Dragonite, because Florges still like Sylveon, it's a very not too great defense stats, so it's still going to go down. I think we're going to see Roaring Moon and Iron Hands lead instead of Mousehold here, though. Wouldn't be surprised to see Volcarona in the back then. And then Scizor and Sylveon lead on Alex's side. Really interesting here. Again, that Sylveon puts the pressure on Iron Hands to Terra. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that right away. One of these is going to get hit super effective after a Hyper Voice, because you can't, or obviously we could see a switch, but still, then the switch is going to be very okay. Yeah.
I was gonna say, that's a pounce on that Scizor. That's great. I love that. All right.
What's this really fun move on
this Terra actually probably should go into that Roaring Moon.
Is it? Yeah, Roaring Moon.
Yeah, but it's actually a lot better for the Roaring Moon this time around, just because ooh, a Poison type. Oh man, that would have been so crazy. Side Shock. But Poison type Roaring Moon at least is able to resist that that Hyper Voice. So Iron Hands can do so much damage. Is not enough to pick up a knockout here. I think it has a chance to flinch though.
It does.
Surprisingly.
20%.
So Roaring Moon, like, you know, takes that close combat very nicely. The Scissor's gonna have to take a couple drops here.
Hyper Voice,
Hyper Voice.
Does so much.
Here's the problem. The Sylveon, I don't think it's gonna live another turn for that throat spray to matter. It is at 23 health. I mean, even if you protect it next turn, you're still kind of in a rough spot here. But ooh, actually, Fire Punch
gets rid of the Scizor.
That actually might have helped Alex out, because if you have the Dragonite in the back and you go for an extreme speed here, Terra normal extreme speed into that. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if you Terra extreme speed into that Roaring Moon, you might have been able to pick up a knockout here, because now you're kind of forced to go for a protect into the Sylveon just to keep it around for another turn.
Which also puts a threat on your, target on your Gastrodon. The thing is, with Gastrodon though, it has got such a good
Gastrodon could just click the Earth Power into the Roaring Moon.
Exactly.
Oh, man,
it could go into either one.
I think going into the Roaring Moon would have been the funnier choice.
Yeah. Oh, Florges. We are going to see Florges. Okay. That's interesting. We are going to see that protect on Sylveon, which is to be expected. But Gastrodon, like we said, it had free Earth Power on one of the two Kenzos, and it's gonna U-turn from Roaring Moon is gonna switch it out. So that, I think, was very interesting.
That was actually really.
It was really good, because you're gonna probably negate the. Yeah, we're gonna see Iron Bundle, so it doesn't matter whichever slot it's selected. It's not gonna take a super effect from Earth Power, and Iron Bundle now puts that pressure on Gastrodon. Or just actually, there's that.
Yeah, so this is the reason why I like the people I've been talking about have been talking about Symbiosis, right?
Yep.
Symbiosis is one of those few sort of like abilities that you really see. I think the only one you see it on is really a Rangaroo. So what happens is, when your partner Pokemon consumes its item, Symbiosis gives its own item to that Pokemon next to you. So in this case, we saw the Iron Bundle consume the booster energy, and because Symbiosis from Florges, that Life Orb from Florges goes to that Iron Bundle. So really what you're getting is like 2 items for the price of 1 into a Pokemon. You just have to sort of be careful, because it is a lot of timing issues, right? So in this case, like, the Florges was able to time that properly. You have to just watch out for like the future, or like the way that you position the Florges and whatever Pokemon is next to it. And sometimes you'll want to choose an item for Florges that will benefit all the Pokemon on your team. And Life Orb is actually just not a terrible choice.
Not at all. I'm actually shocked at what we just saw there. Terra Fire Sylveon right now. I mean, especially with Dragonite in the back, you no longer have that Terra Normal, which, I mean, maybe you're not going to need it, but that is very interesting to me. Terra Fire is going to go for a Terra Blast onto, I believe, clicked onto the Florges slot. Protect on Gastro so it doesn't get the Freeze Dry. It's not a bad option, especially if it goes for like Icy Wind and maybe able to live it, but the Life Orb is going to, now it's going to Freeze Dry. I don't know. That's a very smart play. But now we're going to see that Terra Blast come out. Let's see how much this does on the Florges. I think it's trying to, the Terra Virus to survive a hit from Florges here, knowing it's only got Moon Blast and Pollen Puff.
That does absolutely nothing, honestly,
really
with that.
Is it going to live?
No, there's no way. It's at 23 HP. There's no way it's going to live like a stab Florges.
I mean, Florges has pretty high special attack as well.
I'm kind of surprised that he actually went for the Terra there.
Too.
I would have saved it for the Dragonite in this instance, because Dragonite actually has a lot more to offer you as a normal type.
Yep.
I'm sure the Iron Hands is in the back still, but you're kind of in a spot now where you're asking your Dragonite to do a lot, and it has to lock on into a move right now, and that's actually really tough, right? Dragonfall also isn't a terrible idea for the most part because Dragonfall at least still gets the stab.
The only issue is if you don't get a double protect, the knockout bundle, then that Gastro isn't done, and if you're locked on the Dragon Claw, you lose. Floor just wins.
Honestly, you could just double down into the Dragonite. Dragonite can't protect.
Yeah.
Dragonite can't protect. You hit it with the Iron Bundle, so you break the multi-scale, and Floor just is move flash and pick up the rest of it, right?
And then at that point, Gastrodon is really threatened by bundle and can't knock it out, as we saw. So, really, yeah.
I mean, here if you get rid of the Dragonite, then you're in a spot where just everything else wins for you. So there's an extreme speed.
Floor just does pick up the knockout on Floor just. So at least you don't have to worry about that, but you still have two other Pokemon in the back, plus the Iron Bundle. Freeze Dry gonna go connect with that Gastrodon, and it is the knockout. So now it's just a matter of Dragonite's Choice Band Extreme Speed versus everything else, and unfortunately, without that Terra Normal, there's so much that. First off, Freeze Dry.
I'm just saying, we've seen a Dragonite go a 3v1 situation before. Just the problem here is, like, even with the multi-scale attacker, it's still just a lot to ask again of that Dragonite, right? It can't. Yeah.
Figure coming out first. We're gonna break the multi-scale, and then Dragonite flinches, and let me guess, Freeze Dry. Yep. I think that's gonna at least come close to a knockout. Yeah, it's a knockout, and possibly thanks to that Symbiosis Life Orb. I mean, that was a really good play, and yeah, that sealed the deal for Kenz. I think that was a really interesting match. That Terrifier, I think, just I don't think it would have mattered at the end of the day because it's got Iron Hands, but like, man, that was interesting.
I think if you were in a spot where you're okay like doing some damage into the Iron Bundle, then honestly your choice there would have probably been to just either go for like a might have just been either offensive with the Gastrodon, protect the Sylveon, so then Gastrodon will go down no matter what, but if you can at least get rid of something else, then you force Kenz into deciding whether he wants to take care of the Dragonite now or later. But still, I think overall, like, Alex still has a pretty solid team, right? The Florges and the Iron Bundle, like, once you see that sort of combination, it's like less of a surprise. The problem here is the Roaring Moon with that poison type Terra, so you need a little bit of a better matchup against that.
I think Arcanine is actually a solid idea because you have Will-O-Wisp.
I think you can leave behind the Scizor for the Arcanine. I think Gastrodon is still a really good Pokemon, but now it becomes one of those, like, Gastrodon helps you win games if you can get rid of the Iron Bundle, but if you're Kenz and you're like, okay, well, Iron Bundle helps you win games, so I have to get rid of everything else because I know that's how it's going to have to be. So Arcanine, I think, is a really fantastic choice.
I would go Arcanine here.
As opposed to maybe the Scizor. I think the Sylveon is still actually
Sylveon's really good. It's a toss-up between Gastro and Scizor, basically.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Scizor do much. Like, sure, it has the close combat options, but
I don't think that's that bad of a choice either because Sylveon, like I said, what it's done so far has been Hyper Voice one turn and then die because there's so many physical attackers on Kenz's side that I don't blame not bringing the Sylveon. I mean, it's just Iron Hands and Roaring Moon were able to hit KO it, and we're gonna see that lead again from Ken. So, but there's Arcanine and Dragonite. Really wise lead from Alex.
What year is this? What years? Okay, so Arcanine, Dragonite, love the Intimidator going down into their Dragonite. Actually, I'm sorry, that's a Morning Sun Arcanine. Yeah, oh dear goodness.
Okay, so I think here Will-O-Wisp is obviously important, but which one do you Will-O-Wisp? This is why Iron Hands, I believe, has Terrifier. This is interesting. It's a battle of Terras. Does Dragonite Terra? Does Iron Hands Terra? Does Roaring Moon Terra?
Here. I don't think there's any reason to not Terra the Roaring Moon because there's not a lot that Alex has to deal with it except the Psyshock Sylveon, and even then you have a lot of ways to deal with it. The problem is if you don't Terra the Dragonite, you'll take super effective damage from like sure the multi. So you're still in the problem where you're gonna get hit by Fake Out, so your multi skill will be broken. Yeah. And then you'll have to take super effective damage and stuff, right? So you'll see, we're gonna see the Dragonite Terra, which absolutely should happen.
That means Roaring Moon, I believe, is not going to Terra. Maybe because of extreme speed. We'll see. Fake Out on the Dragonite, not gonna move.
If that's a Dragon Claw, that's okay. Oh, it's U-turn.
U-turn. That's smart. Now because you remove that Intimidate. And now we're gonna see. I would imagine. I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say Florges. I think that's probably your best bet now, and Dragonite flinches, but this is what I think is really important, the Will-O-Wisp, because that's a really, really good play on Alex's
Iron
side.
Hands. I love that.
Yep, with that Will-O-Wisp and Iron Hands, now that Drain Punch, which is super effective on Dragonite, not going to do as much as you want it to. I think here, it's the play is clear. You go for the Drain Punch with the helping hand. Yeah,
here.
you definitely need the helping hand. But I think...
Well, you know what? Flare Blitz actually probably not terrible either.
I was thinking helping hand on the Florges here, actually. But I think helping hand on Arcanine could work too. Or Flare Blitz. I mean, they both, especially because Florges is very physically not that defensive. A Flare Blitz can probably chunk it to at least 50.
Here, if you're Alex, I think you should focus on taking at least 1 KO. The Florges is scary because it has the Move Blast, and I think it also has access to... it has Pollen Puff as well.
So there's the helping hand on Florges. Yeah, no surprise there. I'm guessing, or E-Speed's gonna come out. It's gonna connect with Iron Hands. 50% or close to
actually, helping hand probably wouldn't have like helped that out either.
No.
But Florges is gonna take considerable amount of damage from this.
50% though.
The Drain Punch might actually really hurt the Dragonite here, which is the scary part you're gonna have to worry about. Oh, still take that life very nicely. So I think
now you helping.
You could actually just E-Speed, you could Extreme Speed, and then go for a Flare Blitz into the Iron Hands, and I think that might actually be enough to knock it out. You'll lose the Dragonite though, which is the only problem. But if you have some way of dealing with the Roaring Moon in the back, I don't think you're in.
That's tough.
And
oh, okay. Well, the Gastrodon. Okay, Gastrodon doesn't have Earth Power.
Oh, Iron Hands can't even protect. Now it's Arcanine's turn to lend a helping hand to its partner Pokemon. So this will actually, so Florges can protect. So not going to take any damage this turn, which wouldn't matter because the Dragonite's going for the Extreme Speed in here. So I think helping hand should be enough to actually knock that out. So it's actually a fantastic turn for Alex here, right? Is able to at least pick up the knockout on the Iron Hands. Florges is unable to really much here, but if it is with the Iron Bundle, it's gonna get that Life Orb again, so you do have to be careful about that. Now you're in that spot where sure your Iron Bundle is fast, but Extreme Speed is a priority move, so it won't matter how fast it is. You could still be in a spot where Helping Hand is still the correct play. Helping Hand into Extreme Speed Iron Bundle is still not a terrible play, but the Iron Bundle does have access to Protect, so that is something you have to kind of play around with.
Also, it may not protect right off the bat. I think either way, if it goes for the knockout on Arcanine, Florges can knock out Dragonite. This may be a double knockout on Alex's side, as long as, of course, if you hit the Hydro Pump. But we're gonna see.
No, I love this switch because I think Scizor is a really good sort of like Pokemon to go.
No, that was a brilliant switch here because. I mean, Bundle is going to get that Life Orb, but still,
that's really good job here because the Freeze Dry sure is going to connect. Scizor just takes that very nicely. It is boosted by Life Orb.
Yeah,
so don't forget that part.
Yeah, I think
Flare Blitz into the Florges is going to do a lot of damage. It's not enough to KO it, but Florges does get burned, which is great.
So nice.
That's Will-O-Wisp 2.0, everybody. But actually, that's still also in range for a Bullet Punch here. So Scizor does take a lot of damage on that switch in.
This is one of those matches. It's gonna if they go for a Freeze Dry, it's a roll. Do you go for the Freeze Dry? Do you go for that Hydro Pump? And that's one of those matches. I would. Yeah, this is an interesting one.
Will-O-Wisp the Iron Bundle because it'd be funny. Just like HP timers are also just like a really way to win, right? But Bullet Punch here would actually just be like terrible for the Florges.
Yeah. Surprise on that one.
Is he gonna?
That's
okay. Actually, I don't disagree with that either.
No, that's
you could protect this here because you know the Florges
also a solid place.
The Arcanine is actually just kind of sitting here pretty like half the time. The Roaring Moon is most likely, so Roaring Moon is going to be the only Pokemon that can come back.
Which is a good there to resist. Now, the thing is,
it does still have access to its Terra typing. So that is the big thing for Ken. He still does have access to Terra type.
Yep.
Since they're going for Protect here as well, so it's really just Flare Blitz here from the Arcanine into the Roaring Moon is going to connect. Does some damage, I guess. No burn this time, but you still have access to Will-O-Wisp, so there is that to worry about.
Question is, do you want to go for that or do you want to go for the Helping Hand? I think.
No, you go for the Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah.
Will-O-Wisp is not a terrible thing to go for right here.
Here's the thing. I think Roaring Moon could potentially pick up a knockout on Scizor here. Oh, there's the Terra. It's going to most likely be Roaring Moon and the Poison, but yeah, I think just Roaring Moon's a huge threat because it outspeeds your Scizor. And I think right now your Scizor is your main counter for that Iron Bundle because
you have to knock out the bundle here because if you don't, Gastrodon just loses, right? Oh, it connected.
I'm shocked. I thought they were gonna go for a freeze dry, but they took the risk.
I can't believe that connected.
Yeah, I think that just you have to target that. I think not going for the bundle in the few turns may have cost. It's basically bundle versus the world here, and it wins. I mean, it does.
Wait, but bundle has Roaring Moon next to it. Even with the burn, like it's not like the Roaring Moon's like not.
No, I mean, because
right?
Roaring Moon can knock out the Arcanine, and then it's just Dragonite and Gastrodon, and Roaring Moon can basically chip because the burn doesn't really matter. I think because it's still even with half damage, we'll be able to pick up the knockout on Dragonite and Arcanine.
Wins this here, right? So you have to decide if the Iron Bundle is going to protect again this turn or what's going to happen.
You gotta get rid of the bundle.
You have to lock into the problem is you're locking into extreme speed again. And all you have to do as Kenz is you click protect on the Iron Bundle.
That's it. That's basically what it is. Even not though, I think it lit well. Life or damage is gonna be a huge factor.
It's not even that the Roaring Moon can even with the burn should be able to pick up a knock.
Oh yeah, definitely on one of these two. Yeah.
So
I would imagine I would go for Dragonite because you're not gonna get protected. So that's pretty much what it comes down to.
I think all you have to do as Kenz is just click the protect on Iron Bundle because really at this point that's it did
no
not
protect on bundle.
Okay.
That may be the deciding factor. There's that E-speed coming out onto that bundle.
It didn't click protect. Okay, Iron Bundle.
That's enough.
Out here, so Dragonite can go down here. But that's okay because it's Roaring Moon is going to not.
Oh, it didn't knock out.
All right.
I don't think it really mattered then whether you're not protected the bundle.
Okay.
That burn was huge.
Okay.
That burn was
Forge is still there. Jeez.
It's got like one turn left on it. That's it, I think.
What helping hand? You can helping hand, I guess here. Dragonite extreme speed into the Roaring Moon. Gastrodon just wins everything here now. Like honestly, jeez. I forgot about the Florge because it was so low on HP. I mean,
I'm just shocked that bundle, or not that the Dragonite lived the hit. It didn't matter if bundle protected or not. It's still, of course, it's a crit.
Extreme speed critical hit. That's one of those few crits that like doesn't matter.
It's literally just like.
And then Florge just gets knocked out to burn damage. And hey, so that Flare Blitz was fantastic.
Oh, attempted Pollen Puff.
Tried.
This smart. This is worth a shot. That burn. Well, I mean, not only did Alex play fantastic here, but if you look at that luck, that burn on that floor just was actually it helped out a lot. The burn hitting that burn was really important on Roaring Moon. The 4 HP survival, man.
I honestly I think Alex really addressed it. I had my doubts about the scissor, but the scissor actually really helped out. It was a lot of honestly, I feel kind of bad for Scissor because it was a lot of sack fodder, right? It comes in for other Pokemon to take damage. But I think what I really loved about this was the knowledge that, hey, if I get rid of the Iron Bundle, Gastrodon in the back helps me win this game. And both players sort of recognize that, right? It just, the unfortunate part was that the floor just, I don't know if in the end the floor just burn really matters because it was already in such a rough spot.
Yeah, it was going to go down anyways.
Yeah, Gastrodon was able to pick it up.
Just the luck to get the floor just burned.
Really, the big part is the fact that Arcanine was able to land all of its Will-O-Wisps.
That was amazing. That was amazing,
really
and it really did because at the end there, because if the bundle did protect and it then Will-O-Wisp missed on Roaring Moon, that Dragonite would have been gone. So really interesting, really exciting match.
Honestly, like that was such a good end game.
It was really fun.
So, I mean, after that, you know, how else you follow it up? That's easy with a round 5.
Final
so that was
round
the
of
end of
Swiss.
Yeah, so that was the end of round 4. We'll be heading into the end. We'll be heading into our final round, and after that, we'll be heading into top 8. Ooh. So all of the people that you might have seen earlier today, you'll probably see again.
Probably.
So
most likely.
We'll see you guys for our final round in a second. In the meantime, I guess you can go watch the other sports event that's happening on right now because I think the kickoff I don't know sports, guys. I don't know sports.
Me neither.
I know that there's balls that you throw around to score goals or baskets or whatever it is.
Not Pokeballs. Not Pokeballs.
But in the hey, that's really funny. We're on Nugget Bridge.
There you go.
I'm wearing their dagger right now too. So I think that's hilarious. Anyway, we'll see you guys for round 5 in a bit. Toodles.